What is going on, everybody? What the channel? This is United vs. Everybody. I am your host, Sean, and this is the Man United News Roundup. How's everybody doing today? Everybody having a good day? It's Thursday. I have to check. It's Thursday, right? It is Thursday. Hope everybody's enjoying their week. Hope everybody is just, staying chill at the UVE store. 20% off everything. Lots of new designs, including this little number that I just dropped this morning. If you guys haven't seen this yet, all sorts of stuff in here. So it is 20% off everything. We do have all sorts of stuff in here, sorted by design. You can go see which design you like. So if you want to get yourself an Mbumo shirt, click on the design and it'll bring up literally every product that has that design. Men, women, there's everything. So you keep a lookout. There are always new designs dropping. There are mugs, there are hats, there are pretty much everything. Like if you want to click on the OG green and gold, you can see we've got it in a hat as well. We've got it in hoodies. We've also got it in a mug. So keep a lookout, you guys. Always be sure to check the community tab. Always be sure to check the UVE store. Whenever there's a sale coming up, I will always let you guys know. So you guys are always on top of it. I know some of you guys have purchased things, but it's always nice to show support for the channel if that's something you want to do. But it is a way to get some one-of-a-kind United gear without giving any money to the Glazers. I know a lot of us are just adamant. I don't like giving money to the club if I can help it. I love the club, but I do not love the Glazers. So, but shameless self-promotion. You guys know I always got to do that. If you're not promoting yourself in any line of work, you're not doing 100% of the job. So keep that in mind. So let me get involved with the chat and see who we got here in today. Obi's in the house. Big up, Obi. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, man. Hope you're having a good day. I need to crack this window. I think it's hot up here. Who else is in the house? Danny B in the house. Good to see you, Danny, man. Hope you're doing well. Are you on lunch or are you just off work today, man? Let me know. Rob Taft's in the house. Big up, Rob. Hope you're doing well, man. Welcome back. Stephanie, big up, Stephanie. We got a lot of the crew in here today. The wrecking crew. Big up, everybody. Like to see all the familiar faces and everything. Let's see. Stephanie, she finally got rid of her head cold. I'm glad because I had one of those all like last week and it was just not fun. My wife came back from Glastonbury with a little bit of the flu. I caught a little bit of the flu as a result and it was just not okay. So, but welcome back. We're glad you're feeling better. Glad you're here. Danny's off today. Big up, man. Well, we'd like to have everybody involved. So again, just get involved in the chat, you guys. I got a poll in there right now on a topic that we'll be talking about a little bit later. So you guys know we always like to start with the odds and ends. So happy birthday, happy 20th birthday to Lenny Yoro. It is his 20th birthday. I think people forget Lenny Yoro is only 20 years old now. And he's literally been here a year and a half playing regularly in the first team. Like that's insane. If he can continue the way he's doing, like, again, he's so good at some of the natural stuff and some of the other stuff, maybe like positioning, when to step up, when to step back, that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff I expect, a 19, 20-year-old now to make a mistake on now and then. But if he could just keep building on what he already has and just learning with good coaching, with the good culture around him in the dressing room and everything, Lenny Euro is going to look like an absolute bargain before long. He's already looking like that for some. But happy birthday, Lenny Euro. Very happy to have you at the club, man. It's always nice to steal one out from Real Madrid if possible, although they didn't have Alvaro and took him away from us. So maybe we'll call it a tie. How's that sound? Brian Mbumo is the PFA Fans Player of the Month for October. So he's already, the Premier League Player of the Month for October. So just a clean sweep for United in October, man. And I like that. As you can see here by the graphic, up in the corner, front and center, is the Mbumo shirt, the beard with the crossbones / the trident. So if anyone wants to celebrate, there it is. And then also congrats to the women's team for their big Champions League win over PSG yesterday. They won 2-1. They looked very, very good yesterday. Park has been an absolute beautiful signing for the women's team. Jade Riviere, shameless shout out for Michigan because Jade Riviere, she went to school she played her college football right down the road from me at U of M. She was the one of the Big Ten Player of the Year, like her debut season. She's an absolute boss, and I'm always proud to back someone who's coming through the Michigan. And she's Canadian, but she had an absolute gem of a game yesterday. Everybody did really, really well. So Proud of the women's team yesterday. Mbirdo, yes, exactly. It's like one of the most noticeable features of Mbumo, so I just went with it. But I do enjoy making designs for the shirts and whatnot. So always go check out the store. Anytime I do a live show, there's always products below the video player. If you scroll down, you can see a couple samples. But little odds and ends. First and foremost, check this out. So despite playing in a deeper position, Bruno Fernandes is the second highest rated player in the Premier League this season. So I think, and then I saw, if you add that to this little tidbit, sorry, the wrong one. He's also like leading chance creations right now as well. I think that obviously playing in a deeper position is not where we would all want Bruno to be playing, right? He's a 10. He looks a little out of place at times, but he's still Bruno. And so even putting Bruno out of position slightly, you're still going to get performances. Now, he was shit to start the season. I don't think there's any way around that. I said against Arsenal, even though we played really well, I thought we deserved more from that. Bruno was the worst player on the pitch, but he's not bad. Once we've started sitting back a little bit, playing that Oliver Glasner 3-4-2-1, where we're a little bit more compact, I think it all clicked against like Liverpool for me, but he looks good, and he's still doing Bruno things. He's still getting assists, still creating chances, still getting high match ratings. Like, I don't have a problem with it, but I know a lot of people are not happy with the situation. But more often than not, the better players are usually the ones who get thrown out of position slightly because they can handle it. But Bruno is doing what he needs to do. I'm not going to complain about it. Moving on, I also saw this. We can all laugh at this a little bit. You guys know we always do a little laugh at Liverpool tidbit. So, yeah, Bryan Mbeumo, 5 goals in the league right now. Ekitike, Isak, Florian Wirtz, 3 goals combined in the league. They cost literally almost 5 times as much as Bryan Mbeumo costs. So I'm always happy to throw that up there. And anytime we can laugh at Liverpool, we can do that. Speaking of laugh at Liverpool, inadvertently, we can all laugh a little bit at Jamie Carragher for, I don't know what Jamie Carragher's been drinking while he's conveniently skipping all these overlap episodes. Maybe he's going on benders or something and whatnot. But apparently, Jamie Carragher had this to say recently. He says, what Pep Guardiola has done at Manchester City is probably greater than what Alex Ferguson did at Man United. We just have to have a wee little discussion about this because, like, Jamie Carragher, okay, he unashamedly just does not try to hide his bias. Like, it just doesn't whenever he's in punditry, where we know that. But this is just ridiculous. I want whatever he's drinking that puts this kind of, unless it's his own spit, unless he's decided to start swallowing his own spit instead of launching it at young girls. I don't want that. But this dude is literally just, he's on one. He just decided to go rogue or something with some of this take, man. It's absolutely ridiculous about this. I don't know what you guys think of that, but I saw that, wanted to share it because this guy just needs to be muzzled. Same with Troy Deeney, same with Gabby Agbonlahor, same with pretty much everyone on ESPN FC, Sirius XM, BBC, TalkSport, pretty much everybody. Sky, Rob says he needs to be drug tested. Yeah, I don't know what they've got in the water over there in Liverpool, but Jamie Carragher just either drink more of it or drink less of it, basically. But that was insane. I just had to share that with you guys. Stephanie says Kara needs an intervention, but not by GNF. Oh, man. I miss when they were just at each other's throats. They're too chummy now. And really, Neville's too chummy with his enemies, and he's too harsh on his own, like, United players now these days. Neville needs to, like, reorient his priorities when it comes to criticisms and whatnot. I don't know. Let's move on to some United squad-related news here. This one came from Laurie Whitwell. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but he had a little something to say about Tyrell Malacia. It says, at the end of the summer transfer window, Amorim asked the squad for their opinion on Tyrell Malacia. The squad voted in favor of his reinstatement, and Amorim took that view into account. He basically just asked them what they thought, and they said they wanted Malacia around, and he stuck with him. Now, I'd like to know what reasons they have for wanting him to stay. Like, I don't know what the basis for this, like, stance on this was. I mean, he was on the bench against Brighton. I don't know if many of us noticed that. I didn't even notice it right away, and I saw he was on the bench against Brighton. So clearly he's in and around the squad. His contract is still up in the summer, Malacia. I haven't heard anything about any sort of renewal whatsoever. What are your thoughts on? do we let him go for free? Do we just give him some minutes as needed? Do we just assume that he's not part of the squad? I mean, he missed an entire year of football not that long ago. He played a lot of football Ten Hag's first season, but he also missed an entire year. Would you renew his contract? You guys know my thoughts. I've never been super convinced by Malacia personally. I've just he's got heart. I get it, but he's just the technical skill is just not there. I'd still probably start Dorgu. I'd probably put Mazraoui at left wing back before I would trust Malacia. And he's older than a lot of people think. I think he's like 26. He could even be 27 by now. So he just looks young. And so I've never been convinced by him. I don't know what your thoughts here. Danny says let him go for free in January. So you're saying just cut the contract short if somebody's interested and just for the sake of getting him out of here, getting him off the wages. I do think I should have looked it up ahead of time. I want to say he's on like pretty decent wages too. I want to say it's like 70 something K a week or something. Let me see here. Professional. Hold on. Breaking information here. Malacia wages. Let me see. So he is on 75K per week, which is kind of we've been paying him 75K a week for the last 4 years now almost. 70 says Malacia on the bench, probably get him in shop window. I mean, he was on the bench against Brighton. He's one of those players who I think if the players in the squad wanted him to stay, right, if that's what they told Amorim, and we were still in Carabao Cup or something, he was one of those players I feel like would probably be getting some minutes here and there. We tried to put him on loan. He was at Eindhoven last year. I think they did win the Eredivisie. They didn't want to keep him. We got him from Feyenoord, I believe, Ten Hag's first summer. Ten Hag loved him when he was at Ajax and they played Feyenoord. There was literally that clip of saying, of Ten Hag asking one of his assistant coaches at Ajax, who is that left back? He's amazing. I'm sure he was, and this is part of the thing with Ten Hag, right, is that talent identification was still kind of stuck on Ajax level when it really needed to be up a little bit. I'm not saying by Galacticos. It's just we can do better than Antony. We could do better than Malacia. I think Lissandro Martinez was definitely a solid home run. If he can, hopefully this ACL doesn't hurt us, but we'll see. Stephanie says Malacia cost us just over 12 million. Eric Ten Hag's first season. Yeah, he didn't cost a lot. He just is not that good, unfortunately. I think Alex Tellez is probably better than Malacia, and I didn't even rate him super highly. So, but yeah, like Danny's saying, it's the wages that kill you. There's no reason that Tyrell Malacia coming from the Eredivisie should be on 75. I mean, the Antony situation alone was enough to get somebody sacked. Whatever Malacia's wages I want to look up his wages at Feyenoord. Feyenoord wages. Let's see what the... let's see. He was on... Jeez. He was getting paid... We literally... Almost literally what we did with Anthony. So Anthony was reportedly on 20K and then went to 200K. Malacia was on 7.5K, 7.5K a week at Feyenoord. We literally multiplied that by 10. That is the kind of shit that we've been doing at United. The people who make those important decisions just literally they just did not know what the fuck they were doing. Yeah, you're on 7.5K. Yep, we'll just, 10 times that. We're United. We can do things in the transfer market no other clubs can only dream of. So yeah, get him in. Let's do it. That's embarrassing. That is literally embarrassing. Anthony should have been on maybe 75, 80K. Malacia should have been on maybe 40, 45K a week tops. There's no reason that we should be paying both of them combined at the time more than 100K a week. That's insane. But if someone wants him in January, we get him off the books, cut ties, just let him do his thing, wish him the best of luck. It is what it is. I just don't think he was ever that good enough, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Moving on, a little shift in what we've seen. So you remember when United started referring to the manager as head coach? Do you remember that when Ineos kind of got in here and kicked in? Remember when Ten Hag seemingly also had carte blanche over transfers until Ineos showed up? Well, it sounds like this best-in-class team that we've got now, best-in-class team. It sounds like they're calling the shots now, according to James Ducker. And so this is what he had. Or sorry, this is James. I think this is what James Ducker. I didn't change the name. My bad, guys. James Ducker. So apparently, according to sources, if goalkeeping decision had been left entirely to the manager this summer, Amorim would have likely pushed for Emiliano Martinez over Senna Lamens, but Tony Cotton, United's goalkeeping scout, had been banging the drum for Lamens relentlessly to Wilcox for a year, and so far, at least the 18.1 million recruitment looks a smart piece of business. So apparently, Amorim, according to the sources, Ducker was all over Emiliano Martinez, and he had to be convinced. And it sounds like the club went with Senna Lamens over Emi Martinez, which I don't have a problem with. You guys know we put up that comparison with Emi Martinez with all these other keepers. We put Emi Martinez compared to Onana. He just has been on the decline. I've never rated Emi Martinez that highly. I think that he's still eating off that World Cup win from 3 years ago almost now. And he's just not been great since. The same way Kieran Trippier has been living off that free kick for England from about 5 years ago. Big up, Obi. Good to see you, man. I just think so. I'm glad that that we kind of, if this is true, I'm glad that we did kind of override Amorim, and if you wanted Emi Martinez, maybe does that have something to do with why we didn't see Lamens for so long? Would we have seen Emi Martinez right away had he come to United? I don't know. You guys know I'm not 100% a big stickler for Premier League proven, and I think that keepers, especially, it doesn't take that much time to acclimate. Your job is to stop shots. It's not that difficult. And so Steph says, I met Tony Cotton once. Nice. He was City's goalie. Then I threw him a packet of crisp in a pub. He dropped it. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's funny. Remember when Onana dropped his car keys and the MEN just were feasting on that for like a straight week? Like, this is embarrassing. That's funny, though. That's funny. Some possible exits here. So we've seen a few clubs linked to a couple of our players, specifically Joshua Zirkzee in recent weeks. We talked a little bit the other day about West Ham and then Roma as well. Now, Rob Dorsett at Sky has added another potential suitor to the list. He says Joshua Zirkzee is high up on Everton's list of possible targets if he were to become available in January. That's coming from Rob Dorsett at Sky. What are you guys' thoughts on Zirkzee? I've asked you guys a couple different times, and we did some polls. Would you sell him in January if you got someone like Endrick on loan? The majority said no, keep Zirkzee. I put a poll up the other day in a live stream. You guys said Zirkzee still has a role to play. So a lot of you guys are still backing Zirkzee, but it sounds like he's got a lot to prove. I mean, he can't get minutes even when Šeško doesn't start. We're starting Cunha as like a false nine. When Zirkzee is that 9.5. I mean, if he leaves, I'm going to have to take down the 9.5 shirt from the United vs. Everybody store. You guys know that for a while we've had that 9.5 shirt in there. I'll have to take it down. So I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on Zirkzee? Do you think he could leave? Would you want him to leave? If he does leave, do we need to replace him? We might have some updates on that as well. Obi says he's done a little bit of digging on Ruben Neves. Asked a few good sources of mine. Ruben Neves is interested in returning to the Prem. Asking prices around 17 million. I got to know the sources. I want to see who you are. You can't just come in here like Team Talk or Caught Offside and say according to sources. If you have watched the channel for a while, I did a stream a couple weeks back on January deals that I think United should consider. He was included in that list. Spoiler alert. You can go back and watch that video if you want more reasons why. But his contract is up, I think, in the summer. I've wanted Ruben Neves at United for a long. I was crushed when he decided to go to the Saudi League. I thought in that deep role, he's a leader, excellent long range shot, good. He's physical. He's just mentality monster. He's been captaining clubs since he was a teenager. I love Ruben Neves. He's 28 now, I think, 27, 28. And so for 4 years, I think he could be a really good Casemiro replacement in the summer, even maybe January. But would he be my top choice? Probably not. Would I get him if it meant we couldn't get somebody else who I'd rather? No, he wouldn't be my top choice. But I do like Ruben Neves, Obi. You're spot on there. Hope you're doing well, man. Obi says, Zirkzee for another year. Keep him. See how it goes. See what happens, I guess. Yeah, it's not my top priority right now to immediately get rid of Zirkzee and find a replacement. I think I have other priorities. Midfield is a big priority. Left wing back probably getting up there. Danny says he hasn't played basically since before his injury last season. Hasn't been given a proper chance to judge. Yeah, I mean, I think he started against Grimsby, right? A lot of like players like Mainu, Fredrickson. a lot of these guys started against Grimsby, and you could say it is a bit rusty. It's very unfortunate that we ended up losing that game and getting knocked out of the cup as a result. It is what it is. Should he be rotated in a little bit more? Probably. I think that there's opportunities. The problem is like, when are we ever going to be up enough? I think Ruben Amorim is past that point now where he's willing to take those kind of risks, because obviously we've seen these players like show, like we were 2 up the other day, and conceded 2 more goals. Like, we shouldn't be in that situation, and it's difficult. And he said he doesn't like to make changes because he doesn't want to throw everything off unnecessarily. I think if we were up by like 3-0 with like 20 minutes to go, we'd start to see some more changes. But is that something Amorim needs to work on? Does he need to go ahead and just roll the dice a little bit more on some of that stuff? I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. I don't have a problem with Zirkzee personally. If he stays, I can keep selling the 9.5 shirt. It is. Rob says, I prefer to keep Zirkzee Manu and see how they get on in the winter. Yeah, we are going to have AFCON coming up. So there's an opportunity, I think, for Zirkzee to come in. I think we're going to see some interesting starting 11s come AFCON, because guys like Mount, Zirkzee, Manu probably could get minutes. We're going to need help on that right-hand side, because Misraoui is going to be gone as well. And so I wouldn't be surprised maybe to see Bruno push a little higher, maybe Zirkzee come and Mount play. I wouldn't be surprised to see some things change. Casemiro, it doesn't seem either maybe he just is being rotated to save legs, or it doesn't seem like he can't play more than like 60, 70 minutes. The other day he came off because he got a hard challenge and he said he just needed to come off. Like, that's going to happen, but Steph says Ruben Neves remains 25 for the rest of his life. Yeah, he's been around for a while. And like Rob says, 17 million for Ruben Neves is not a bad price. You could probably get that down to like 14, 15 million, honestly. So, but I've always liked Ruben Neves a lot. I think he's an excellent midfielder. I was annoyed when we played Wolves a couple years back, and he scored against us off a set piece that came ricocheting back out to the edge of the box, which is exactly where Ruben Neves lives. And I don't know why nobody saw that happening. I called it as soon as it happened, but it is what it is. Steph says, last time Zirkzee played against Everton at home, both him and Rashford got a brace. Yeah, that was probably our best win under Ruben Amorim in terms of just the result, right? I thought Liverpool was probably one of our better performances, but against Everton, I mean, that was a big stat pad for us. Was that still David Moyes when he was still there? I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, we'll see what happens with Zirkzee. He, again, wouldn't be my top priority. If we had some sort of replacement in mind, who knows? But right now, if he's going to kick up a fuss, if Manu kicks up a fuss about wanting minutes and something, again, it comes down to what goes on behind the scenes that we can't see in training in the dressing room and stuff. Are they not getting minutes because they're not ready? Are they just not mentally there? Does Amorim not think that they have what it takes for his system? Or does he just not trust his bench? We've talked about this a couple times now, whether or not Amorim trusts his bench. I personally don't think he does. I think that the person he trusts the most to come off the bench would be Harry Maguire personally. But y'all let me know. Keep getting your thoughts in. I want to talk about midfielders, because the midfielder rumors are not going away. We've got all sorts of talk that Manu could possibly want to leave. David Ornstein chose Carlos Baleba as his signing for us in the summer. And now Ben Jacobs still thinks that we could be in for Carlos Baleba. Speaking to the United stand, I think it was yesterday, Ben Jacobs said United have done all the necessities. They've done all the legwork for Carlos Baleba. And it sounds like they've had a buy-in from him. Like, he's all in. He wants to come to United. It is a realistic possibility this deal could happen in the summer, according to Ben Jacobs. Now, I know some people are a bit iffy with their Ben Jacobs reliability. It is what it is. I don't write it. I just put it out there so we can talk about it. I don't know what your guys' thoughts on Carlos Baleba. I've said it many times. If just being linked with United, being approached by United is if the pressure is from that is enough for you to kind of see your form and completely take a nosedive, that's concerning to me, because what's it going to be like when you're actually playing for United? Because if he's having a bad match now for Brighton and it's just, Baleba had a bad match. He does that at United. It's literally all over Sky, all over TalkSport, all over everything for the entire week. That's just the way it is. And if he can't handle just a little bit of the rumors, he's literally gonna be in a fetal position in the corner of the dressing room, pissing his pants if this is what it takes. And so mentality is a big thing. For me, it seems like it's a big thing for Ineos as well, and it seems like it's a big thing for Amorim. I'm not entirely convinced. He wouldn't be my first choice, especially now after things. He's usually like one of the first players subbed off for Brighton too. So, and we know that he's being distracted. Fabian Hürzeler has said as much. So I'm not super convinced these days by Baleba. Obi says, I don't believe Brighton will let Baleba leave midway through the season. Now, it would take a lot of money. And at this point, the kind of money that it would take is just probably going to be almost twice as much as what Baleba is really worth, honestly. It's just not worth it. And maybe that shakeup is our way of lowering his transfer value or something. I don't know, but I can't. I don't know. He's not my first choice. We got Conor Gallagher. We've been linked to Anderson, Angelo Stiller as well. João Gomez. I saw fresh. It was kind of like regurgitated links today coming from Sean Connolly. Sean Connolly, not Sean. Can you imagine? Manchester United linked with João Gomez. Top lad, that midfielder. Leaves opposition midfields shaken, not stirred. Sorry, horrible Sean Connery impression. Top lad, him. I was actually named after Sean Connery, in case you were wondering. I've been told that. My parents were big James Bond fans growing up. My dad loves James Bond. It is what it is. I tried to get into some of the older ones. I couldn't really get into them. I do like some of the Daniel Craig ones, like Skyfall is awesome. But yeah, James Bond, some of it just can't get into. A little bit before my time. Obi's got a recommendation for a player already. Oscar Spitten Niceater. Isn't that what Jamie Carragher does to kids when he's driving? Spitting Niceater. How old is he? Let us know who he is, Obi. But yeah, Gomez, Gallagher may be available in January. Reportedly, we wanted Gallagher at the end of the summer window. Honestly, there's a shout in there for Ugarte Conor Gallagher swap. There's a shout in there maybe for a Gomez Ugarte swap. If you can't tell, I'm not too excited about the idea of keeping Ugarte. Plus, then we've also got potential to maybe see someone promoted from the youth ranks, because it does sound like maybe Seko Kone is starting to get fast-tracked to first-team football. Whether or not that's at United or not, who knows? But it sounds like, at least from Christopher Mickle, that United are trying to get him maybe up to speed for the summer, maybe next year. Because according to Christopher Mickle, the plan is to loan him out this January so he can get professional playing time. He is fit now after that eye fracture. He's not wearing a mask. So, I mean, it is what it is, right? He got like a minute or something recently. We talked about him yesterday in Academy Loan Watch. If you guys didn't go, or Academy Watch, if you haven't watched that, go back and check out that video from last night. We went through all the big Academy players in the under 21s, some of the players on the under 18s. We didn't do all of them because some of these guys are just now starting to get a few minutes here and there. Guys like Nwashi or something, not quite getting enough minutes yet for me to have an idea. Plus, not all the Academy matches are streamed on MUTV. So it's, for some reason, there's less of them on MUTV now than there was last season. So I can't watch them all because there's just nothing there. But go check that video out if you want to know more about what the Academy stars are up to, who's playing, how they're playing, when they could get some first team minutes or go on loan. We got Loan Watch coming up soon. So technically part 2 of that, we'll go through all the youngsters that are out on loan and up to what they're getting up to and how they've been playing. So keep a lookout for that. But Kone looks like he could be up there, ready to go. You guys are laughing at my Sean Connery impression. Oddly enough, one of my favorite Sean Connery movies isn't any like spy or anything. Actually, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Finding Forrester. I love Finding Forrester. I had my wife watch that a couple weeks ago, and honest to God, that movie is why I wear my socks inside out. If you know, you know. But if you've ever seen Finding Forrester, it's an awesome movie. But oh, thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. It was a fun video to do. Love seeing everybody's thoughts and seeing who people might think the youngsters who could be breaking into the first team soon. We have a lot of really good youngsters. Some of them are a little older than I think people realize. I think Camison's probably my pick, especially with AFCON coming up. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get a couple minutes here and there towards the end of some matches because we are going to need help on that right wing back spot. Overy, he's already getting called up to the Australia squad. So the Untouchables, always good. Yeah, that's a good one too. I'm not really a big Kevin Costner fan. I just think what killed it for me, like I like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, the movie, but like Kevin Costner, you're playing Robin Hood. Could you just try an English accent? Just somebody, just let me know. Yes. James Bond. Oh man. Yeah, Sean, get in your favorite Sean Connery movies. Yeah, mine would definitely be Finding Forrest. I am a writer though, so that's probably a little biased. And my bachelor's degree is in writing. I've written like my own blog. I wrote for Stretty News. I used to write for another website a long time ago. Like I write, so it just is what it is. But so maybe a little biased. And Finding Forrester is about writing, so it is a fun movie though. But who would your top choice be for the next midfielder that we could see breaking into the first team? Gallagher, Gomez, Stiller, Anderson, Baleba. Do you just want to stick with the academy? I know some people criticize Amorim for not playing the academy. Like, I just don't know if like the academy players are good. I don't know how many of them are ready. And I don't want them to have to deal with that. So the Highlander, yeah. I've never seen Highlander personally. I know they're doing a remake soon. I don't know if I've ever actually seen Highlander. So if I'm completely just missing out on a beautiful piece of cinema, according to Ricky Bobby, then you guys let me know. Legends will know what that reference is. What else we got here? Danny says Darby Ogi on him a couple weeks back on why it could make sense. You guys can go check that out if you haven't seen that one yet. He makes sense, right? He ticks a lot of boxes. It would not be my first choice. He's probably right now. Gallagher is probably like just below João Gomez and definitely below Elliot Anderson in terms of those like physical, gets around the pitch, get stuck in kind of midfielders who carry the ball. It's Anderson, it's Gomez, and then it's probably Conor Gallagher as far as that profile is concerned. Now, for like ball playing midfielders, it's definitely going to be someone like Stiller, Wharton, Hackney. Even is in with a shout as well. Nemecha at Dortmund is in there too. There's really good midfielders. I just did an Ugarte Agume swap in my FC26 career mode. So when January gets here, Ugarte will be on his way to Sevilla, and Agume will be on his way to Old Trafford. Agume is quickly kind of climbing up my list, though, in terms of those Casemiro replacements. Let's see what you guys. Stream is lagging. Oh, that's not good. Sorry, guys. I've had some issues so I don't know if you guys have seen, thank you, it sounds like it's okay. So I asked my wife about this yesterday, maybe the day before, if her internet on her computer was acting up. And she told me that apparently there have been some sort of geomagnetic issues going on in the atmosphere. And Michigan and a couple other states around here have had some issues with like technology, internet. Our internet has been acting weird the last couple days, so it could be on my end. YouTube has been acting a little weird recently. I Googled that to see if anyone has been having issues with YouTube. A lot of people have said that there are streaming issues with YouTube. So we're just gonna call it a tie and say part of it is the geothermal stuff, part of it is YouTube, but maybe it's all connected. But sounds like it's working now, pretty much. Obi says, I don't like FIFA. It's too arcadey, not realistic at all. I haven't done Football Manager. Now, this year, Obi, FC26 has two settings when you play career mode. So they have the authentic setting, and then they've got the arcadey setting. So you can, when you go start a career mode, you can change it to the authentic. So everything's a little slower. Everything's a little bit more realistic, things like that. Or you can play it super fast paced, which I guess is like Ultimate Team. I don't play Ultimate Team, so I don't know. I literally only do manager mode, but yeah, Ugarte, Agume straight swap in January, and I think I got Fran Garcia with a loan to buy option because I'm selling Malacia. I think Malacia I sold, I want to say to Galatasaray, one of those Turkish clubs. I don't remember. So haven't gotten to January yet. I do my business early, so those deals will come here. So it's not here. Big up, Bikini Bottom. Welcome back. Good to see you again, my friend. Hope you're doing well. We're kind of just talking about random shit. We're talking about Sean Connery and geomagnetic events. What's his poll up to? 67% of you are going to be bringing in Ivan Toney. We're going to get to Ivan Toney in a second. So, but we'll see what's happening. So, Sekou Kone, we'll see what happens. Let me know your choice for midfielder. Obi's going with Conor Gallagher. Let's talk about attackers a little bit. So, we've seen reports that Ruben Amorim is looking for attackers. We just bought 3. Our entire right side is going to be at AFCON. Ahmad and Mbumo are basically our right 10 and our right wing back. I can see how we're going to need help up front. Would you rather spend money there, or would you rather prioritize midfield? I think our midfield options are like, we need midfielders. I think that the options though might not be realistic in January, and if we did get them in January, they'd be expensive. Now, some people are just like, I don't care. Get Anderson, pay whatever you need to do. Get him here in January. He could be the difference between top 4 and top 7, basically. Maybe a loan in January could help for attacker. We've been linked this morning, though, to a new name. And as you can see here, it is Karim Adeyemi. This is coming from Build. Now, he is a very versatile attacker. He's a very, 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 very fast attacker. I don't know how many varies are in there, but probably not enough because this dude is quick. I loved Adeyemi when he was at RB Salzburg. He was an absolute monster. 23 goals, 8 assists in his final season. He is very versatile. He can play almost anywhere across. He's kind of like Donald Malen in that sense, just plays everywhere. Hasn't been a bunnies and flowers for him since making the jump to Dortmund. Now, last year was better, but I have read that he and Niko Kovac just aren't getting along, so maybe people are making too much of that. I've also read that he's got a 70 million release clause, which in my opinion is about 25, 30 million more than he's probably worth, honestly. He's very fast. Like I said, he's very, very direct. He's just not afraid to take you on. He reminds me a little bit like Rashford, honestly. But honestly, I haven't seen the Salzburg version of Adeyemi in years. Got an agent, Jorge Mendes. Reportedly, according to Bild, we have opened talks with Jorge Mendes to explore a move for Adeyemi. I don't know if I'm not, again, coming from Bild. He wouldn't be my top choice. I think he'd be a better fit for someone for like Aston Villa or somebody, a club that plays a little bit more of that straight up counterattack to utilize that pace a little bit more. I thought Donald Malen would have been a better fit for this system, the way he's a little bit more versatile, cuts inside a little bit. Adeyemi is definitely, from my opinion, more of a winger than a striker. Malen is definitely more of a striker and then a winger after that. Maybe I'm just done with Dortmund attackers. Maybe that's kind of, maybe Sancho stuff, maybe the Mkhitaryan stuff. Maybe that's just kind of skewing my perspective a little bit. But I mean, a loan maybe, but I wouldn't want to pay a lot for Adeyemi personally. Let's see, what are you guys saying here? Obi says I like James Garner on a free. Well, wouldn't it be funny if we let James Garner go for pennies and then we paid over the odds to bring him back like we did with Pogba? It's interesting. Obi says, I'm very confused with this link. To me, Adeyemi is a Rashford. Yeah, that's basically what I said. He's so weak in defensive stats. 70 mil asking price won't fit. Yeah, I just don't think he fits the system like you're saying. We need players who can stop and actually think a little bit. They don't always need to be. Oddly enough, I think Sancho could have been a great fit in this system. It's just too bad that he's got a shit attitude. Stephanie wants to know if it was a mistake to let Hannibal go. I don't think so. I think Hannibal, he's all fight. I don't see a whole lot of technical skill personally. And that's not to say he's bad. I mean, it's not like he came through the academy, Hannibal. We bought him for quite like double digits, I think. I can't remember where that was from. I want to say it was like Monaco or something, maybe. I can't remember now. Don't quote me on that. Obi agrees, more of an Aston Villa. Yeah, I think he just suits them better in that way, the way they play. Dana says too much of a risk. He's all pace. If you're playing on the counterattack, we just don't play that way, unfortunately. If we played a little bit more long, if we got that ball out of the back quicker, if we look to exploit that space, like first and foremost, if Ollie were still here, yeah, go get Adeyemi. He'll put up 20 goals for it across all competitions easily. If Ollie were still in charge. Ollie was on the episode of The Overlap this morning. You guys watched it. I always enjoy listening to Ollie. I've always got time for Ollie, man. I loved Ollie. But yeah, I'm not entirely sold on Adeyemi. He definitely would be my first choice, but It's not my channel. You guys let me know. Sticking with Dortmund players, do you want to talk about the Nico Schlotterbeck stuff? It's coming from Team Talk. Sorry, I didn't have a graphic for that. I'll take this off the screen. So Schlotterbeck stuff coming from Team Talk, not exactly the best source, but a lot of people are talking about it, so I might as well get y'all's thoughts on it. Nico Schlotterbeck, we've just been linked to him. I like Schlotterbeck a lot. You guys know I like him. I loved him when he was at Freiburg right before he went to Dortmund. He was having an excellent season. He's got a brother, still plays in someplace else, and can't remember if he plays at Cologne or if he's still at Freiburg. But I always thought that Schlotterbeck would be an excellent left-sided center back for him. I'm pretty sure I had him in my Leach replacement video. I don't remember off the top of my head, but he is basically your like for like Lisandro Martinez, and I literally down to the mentality. This kid he tackles like Vidic. He's got a passing range like Lisandro Martinez. He's got aerial ability like Rio. Like, he's excellent defender. His mentality is just awesome. He's got his passing range for a center back is elite. He can carry the ball. Again, mentality monster. You'll see a few yellow cards, but it is what it is. Now, I think the reason that we're being linked is his contract is up next summer. Now, again, it's Team Talk. It just is what it is. But I'm more concerned about what your guys' thoughts on Schlotterbeck, because it's not a name we talked about a whole lot. But again, his contract is up next summer. It doesn't sound like he wants to renew, which is probably where our name got thrown into the mix, right? I can easily see him going to Bayern Munich if Upamecano leaves for free, for instance. Like, I just think that whenever there's a player whose contract is almost up, who's maybe pushing to either get a new deal or get a move someplace else, it just seems like it's clockwork that our name gets thrown into it. It's just always what happens. So all that to say, I don't buy the rumors necessarily, but I do hope that United have a list of first-team ready center back targets ready and ready to go, just in case Licha, Shaw can't stay fit, or Maguire doesn't want to take a pay cut and he just wants to leave for free. We could be without 3 center backs in this summer after we've just lost 2 this past summer. And so we've gone from like 8 center backs to like 4 if people can't stay fit and whatnot. So I will say this, though, about Schlotterbeck. If I thought for 1 second there was anything in this rumors, if this was coming from like Romano or Whitwell or Ornstein, any top tier source, if there was any chance that this could happen and then he wanted to come, there was any chance he'd be open to it, I'd be putting in a bid now, because Schlotterbeck is an excellent player. He's going to get carded. He's probably going to get suspended at some point. But what this dude, I think he can hang in the Prem. I really do. He's got an error in him here and there, but I think he's an excellent center back. Then it says quality C. Yeah, I don't get excited. It just is what it is. But I think Sabitzer still is at Dortmund. Yes, I think he's still there, if I remember correctly. Sabitzer, I liked Sabitzer. I think part of what I didn't like about it is not even his fault, honestly, that January when we got him and Weghorst had more to do with my frustration with the Glazers and whoever was in charge at the time, that it takes emergency situations back then for them to make their moves and pull their finger out of their ass. We lost Donny van de Beek to injury. We lost Eriksson to injury. We got Sabitzer. I like Sabitzer. Weghorst wasn't on board at that signing. I thought for a little bit more money, we could have pushed and we could have got Marcus Thuram in, because he was leaving for free from Mönchengladbach that following summer. That's the kind of stuff those are the kind of decisions that we should be making. Those are kind of ambitious moves we should be doing. It is what it is. I'm not going to keep digging it up, but I think he's still at Dortmund. But we'll see. Obi says Barca wants Schlotterbeck. They can't literally afford anybody. They're already trying to freaking lowball us on Marcus Rashford, man. Barca just are completely annoyed with them. I don't get it. Obi says Flick likes bid 40 million. Well, we'll see. It's not Flick's call. It doesn't matter if Flick likes him, honestly. It doesn't matter. Barca have zero money. I don't even know if they can still register Danny Olmo. I don't even know if Christensen is playing anymore. I don't watch Barca that much. Like, Barca are just F, dude, when it comes to financial stuff. But I don't get it. But it is what it is. Moving on. So we're talking a little bit about attackers. Obviously, we talked about Adeyemi a bit. Zirkzee could be leaving. We got a lot of rumors. Zirkzee leaving. Maybe we're looking at attackers. What do you make of the recent reports? And this is where the poll in the chat's coming into play. We've got recent reports that Ivan Toney could seek a return to the Premier League. Now, he plays at Al Ahly. He went there for about 40 million a couple of years ago from Brentford, obviously. Coming off the back of some gambling charges that also saw him miss basically a lot of football and just left. There was a time long ago, young children, where Ivan Toney would have been one of my first choice striker targets at United. Probably about 3 or 4 years ago, I would have been all over Ivan Toney, right? Just the way he was playing at the time, I think he was just up there. His decision making is questionable. If you know, you know. He's 29 now. He spent a few years in the Saudi league, like I said, with Al Ali. I think who's that guy who used to play for Fulham, the big tall striker? The Serbian guy, Mitrovic. I think Mitrovic plays at Al Ali now as well, if I remember. I don't know off the top of my head. Could be set to return to England. I've read Spurs linked, Fulham, Leeds, West Ham linked. Obviously, our name always gets thrown in. Would you take Ivan Toney at United? 67% of you say absolutely. 33% of you say no thanks. I think that Ivan Toney and Šeško, if we sold Joshua Zirkzee, let's say we sold Joshua Zirkzee to any of these other teams. Let's say we sold him to West Ham, who have been linked. Now West Ham are suddenly not in the market for a striker anymore. There's a chance. It just depends on the price. You could get a couple of years out of Ivan Toney, and he'd be a really good older striker to come in. He's a different kind of profile to Šeško as well. I like him. I just don't know if I would want to take him. His decision making, like at what point is he gonna make another stupid mistake or something? I don't know. Danny would take him for a year or two, and again, then you get into the whole thing, Danny. Like now, people are going to be thrown out like, oh, this is exactly kind of signing we used to do under the Glazers and Woodward. These 30-year-old strikers who are here for a last paycheck and whatnot. Guys, we've seen that. Ighalo, Cavani, Falcao, Ronaldo, Ibrahimovic, like Baghorst even. What is he, 27, 28 when we signed him? Like, people. There's always going to be the fans who say, yep, here we go, Glazernomics coming through again. I don't think Ivan Toney is any sort of a shirt seller. He's a Premier League proven striker who's, who could do a job. I just don't know if I trust the decision making. Rob says Ivan seems to be getting linked. A few teams, yeah. Like I said, Spurs, Leeds, Fulham, West Ham, all have been linked as well. Mainly just curious to see what you guys think about Ivan Toney. Some of you, sounds like most of you would take him at United for a couple of years. But let me know what you guys think. Moving on away from transfers news to some financial news, we got a reminder from Stephen Railston that United are going to be in the market for a new sleeve sponsor as well as a new training kit sponsor. So obviously Tezos was rocking the training kits. They're not going to be doing that anymore. DXC Technology is the current sponsor. For the sleeve, they took over for Kohler. Now we make $20 million a year on the sleeve sponsorship alone. It was a 4-year contract, so it was $80 million from DXC Technology. That will be done. So there's been talk of combining the sleeve and the training sponsorship into one thing. So the training sponsorship also gets the sleeve sponsorship. I think, though, with the newly revamped Carrington and the upcoming tours that they're going to start doing for Carrington in the summer, I think the opportunity for training sponsorship is going to be appealing enough for a separate thing. You could probably get more money now for the training kit sponsorship than you will if you wait till the summer. So any shouts for a new sponsor, maybe? United versus everybody, perhaps? Maybe throw that on the sleeve. I don't know if I have $20 million a year. We'll start a GoFundMe, but Danny says we need experience with quality with Šeško to learn off of, especially if we make Europe next season. Yeah, Toney would have been the great option to maybe partner with Rasmus Højlund if he can go to the Saudi league for 40 million. I mean, 40 million probably could have been worth a punt. Again, it's just that decision making with all the gambling shit that puts me off a bit. I'm always a little weary of stuff like that because if it happens again, you lose your striker basically. So I mean, we don't want that to happen again. So, but yeah, somebody, if you guys want to get any memberships, we can get United versus everybody put on the sleeve, and we're almost there. Just a little bit more to go. We just got to do 20 million. We'll get it for we'll do it for a day. That'll probably cost 20 grand. So we'll get there. We'll get there. We can always use the sponsorship money though at United. We were strapped for cash. We had to fire people left and right. It sounds though that we could need some more money to cover another legal dispute. So we already, last week, I think it was finalized that we had to pay, I think it was 10, 11 million to break the Ineos deal that we had with Spurs. You guys know that Ineos is all over the Spurs stuff, and we tried to break the deal. They countersued, whatever. We had to pay a settlement there. But remember, not that long ago, it was probably a few months ago, we talked about a report that a former United player could be suing the club, could be taking legal action against the club. Well, it sounds like that's happened because Axel Tuanzebe sounds like he is suing the club. According to Rob Harris, says Tuanzebe hopes to obtain damages of over £1 million after accusing United of failing to treat an injury quickly and appropriately, which caused him more severe long-term problems. So Tuanzebe coming for his further club. So he does still he's with Burnley now, but he blames the club because he can no longer play football without, quote, restriction or discomfort, which he says has impacted his career and his earnings. So I don't know when this injury was supposedly alleged to have happened, this specific injury in question. But it sounds like Tuanzebe is all over it. Jarvis in the house. Big up, Jarvis. Good to see you, man. Says, why should we believe Ivan Toney would come in and make any real difference for us? He's not better than Šeško. He's hardly the type of player you want others learning from. Yeah, and again, that's that mentality. Again, as a therapist, people can change. People can work on things. I wouldn't have a job as a mental health professional if that weren't possible. But it's just sometimes there are also consequences to decisions, and sometimes that consequence is there are going to be clubs, in Ivan Toney's instance, who don't want to take that risk. Like Danny said, it's not worth the risk. And like you're saying, does he make the difference? I do think it would behoove us to have some options at striker. It doesn't seem like Amorim trusts Zirkzee. When we don't start Šeško, we're starting Cunha, for instance. But maybe Amorim is looking more for versatility. Maybe, I don't know. If the rumors are true that we've reached out to Jorge Mendes regarding Adeyemi, he is versatile. I don't rate him too highly. He is just almost like Rashford 2.0 in the way he plays. But it is what it is. I don't mind that we're looking at things. It's just a matter of priorities. I don't know right now. I think maybe it's an AFCON thing. Maybe a striker wouldn't go amiss. Maybe some sort of an attacker wouldn't go amiss. But I'd just rather go get someone who can, because we've seen Cunha can play there and Mbeumo can play there. We played Mount in false nine. We played Bruno in false nine. We have options. I'd rather not go get stopgaps like Ivan Toney for 2 years. Maybe just start continuing to build. Maybe go get someone like Meyer Carrizo or something who can play 10, who can play wide, and just keep the ball rolling in terms of building. But it's not my club. But yeah, there you go. I would definitely take Welbs back before I would take Ivan Toney. Welbeck, man, can you imagine? That would be incredible. Rob says, with the medical department's record, Axel will win this claim. Well, again, it just depends because injuries are going to happen, and it's going to be a matter of protocols for, health and stuff. When it comes to the league, it's also going to be a matter of medical opinion as well. And so both sides will have their own. 1 million is not that big a deal, but at the same time, if you settle for this or do something, it sets a precedent. And now any player who's ever been injured at United can now come back and make the same claim. And so at some point, you've got to just nip this shit in the bud and let it go. So 1 million, that doesn't seem like a lot. So maybe that's part of it. But again, if you pay, they've always got you, and then everybody's got you. So we'll see. I don't know the ins and outs. This is literally all the information I've seen. To me, it would just depend on the nature of the injury and stuff. But we have seen clubs in the past kind of fail to respond quickly. There's a reason like Abi Nori, who used to play for Ajax, is no longer playing football because he had, I think it was some sort of a seizure or something while playing, and just took too long to get him treatment, and his brain went without oxygen for too long, and now he doesn't play anymore. He's permanently disabled. That's the reason Donny van de Beek chose to wear the number 34, because Donny van de Beek's one of his good friends, and so that was his number. So medical teams are not infallible because human beings are not infallible, and that's not to point fingers. That's just to say shit happens sometimes, and that's not a good excuse. But we'll see what happens with this. Then he says, don't have the midfield. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Midfield is the priority. In this system right now, midfield is the position we haven't quite looked at since Amorim has been here. We've got a 10 playing as a 6. We've got a 33-year-old playing as a 6. We aren't even playing the actual defensive midfielder that we bought 2 years ago under Ten Hag. Mainu can't get a sniff either. I don't know what's happening. So That's why I keep going through that list so many times, is because I just don't see the option. So we need midfielders, man. But I don't know what Twanzebe thinks is going to happen here. I don't know what the injury was. He's been injured so frequently, you could literally close your eyes, throw a rock at his medical history, and just land on an injury, basically. But we'll see. Like I said, I don't want it to set a precedence where literally any former player who's been injured can come back and and sue us. So Obi says midfield is top priority. Sometimes I've asked you guys sometimes to recommend places if you're familiar with Manchester restaurants and stuff. I'm always looking for new food. But if anybody was going to recommend Happy Seasons as a place to eat in Manchester, it's off the list. The Chinese food place. They just named one of their dishes after Erling Haaland, who goes in there quite a bit. So they are permanently off the list. Man, I think in that, if people are going to start naming dishes after players, we missed the boat not getting Declan Rice then, because just think of the possibilities for Declan Rice. Alas and alack, it is what it is. What is Jarvis saying here in the chat? It says, by the way, Norway just qualified for the World Cup, beating Estonia 4-1. Alexander Sorloth ×2. Holland got goals against Estonia. No way. But big up, man. That's awesome for Norway. I know we've talked about a lot of Norwegian players throughout the years. But now, big up Jarvis. Congrats, my friend. We did a Bodo Glimt player on my January deals. We've talked about Nipan quite frequently on this channel as well. So Norway, they're coming for us. I don't even know. I think the draw for the group stage is going to be done in a couple weeks. Obviously, the World Cup is in the U.S. this year. It's in the U.S., Mexico, and Canada. Probably not going to be going to these matches because, again, everybody's in their own situation. I get it, but like, if anybody complains about their match ticket cost in like the UK for some matches, try to get a ticket to any US sport at any time. It's literally like you've got to go take out a second mortgage if you want to go to an NFL game or something here. Not only do the tickets cost minimum like a couple $100 a piece for the shit seats, but then like concessions and stuff is just ridiculous. It's like $8 for a beer. It's like $12 for a slice of pizza. It's just $6 for a bottle of water if you go out. Like, it's insane. It's a whole day thing. Parking is expensive as shit. Like, so needless to say, I will not be going to the World Cup. I'd have to travel the closest place I think that's doing it is probably like New York or Atlanta. I think because Justin used to live in Atlanta. Not going to happen there. So you got to fly there. You got to get lodgings. It's a World Cup, so everything's going to be more expensive. And then the tickets themselves are just going to be absolutely ridiculous. But it is what it is. Yeah, like Stephanie says, if Casemiro's missing, we struggle. Yeah, it's sad that that's where we are, but we're just going to ride that wave. Hopefully we strengthen in January. If we can somehow find a way, if we just go into January and Ineos are just like, fuck it, go get Elliot Anderson. If Forest are still down in like relegation zone, don't write it off. Personally, I wouldn't be opposed to it personally because you guys know Ellie Anderson is one of my top picks. But midfielder, there are a lot of midfielders out there. Like I said, I just did my FC 26. I just did a swap Ugarte for Lucien Agume in January. So that'll be coming in. And I got Fran Garcia on a loan with an option to buy. So I got that left wing back position locked up. But yes, we are delighted for you, Jarvis. Big up Norway. I like to see what happens there. You guys know I don't put too much stock in international football being American. We don't tend to do well. We didn't even qualify not that long ago. The only reason we're in this is because we're host nation. It is what it is. I still got my U.S. jerseys. We'll still rock them. We'll still support them. We'll still go to the pub and watch the matches or go hang out at Bill's or whatever. But I don't get my hopes up. Let's just say that. But I think when 2014 was probably the best I've seen us do. And I think we got I think it was like the round of 16. Maybe I can't remember if it was a round of 16 or the quarterfinals, but did pretty well against Belgium. We did put up a fight against Portugal. It's just funny now that most of our squad is not MLS based, but it seems worse than the squad that was heavily MLS based. But it is what it is. I got to watch Clint Dempsey score with his dick, so there it is. Bikini Bottoms says, bro, those prices. Yeah, dude, it's expensive to go to sporting events here, man. Unless you do like semi-pro stuff, like when I was on the board with Livonia City FC a couple years ago, like $5 to go to the match. The matches were literally at a college right across the street from my house. So it was like boom. And it was fun. We got like 100 people in the stands, cheering us on. We had a guy rolled up every week with a flag and some smoke bombs and stuff. It was pretty cool, but it's pricey to go watch sports here, man. If I go to a Detroit City game, it's gonna easily be like $100 if I like go with two people and get food and stuff. So they're big time now. They're getting a new stadium soon, but that's the transfer news. That's the news roundup, you guys. Let me know your thoughts. Adeyemi, Schlotterbeck rumors. It is what it is. Could Zirkzee leave in January? What's the midfield situation going to be like? We saw some more João Gomez rumors today, not from Sean Connery, as we clarified, Sean Connolly. And then, maybe we could get sued by Axel Tuanzebe because that's always fun to do. But I want to know your thoughts, you guys. Let me know in the comments if you guys weren't able to pitch in and get involved with the live chat. Not a problem. You guys know I always check those comments and respond to them when I see them. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Please make sure you like on the way out. If you're not subscribed yet, please do so. We're on the road to 3K. If we get to 3K before Dylan and I go there next month, the winner, pick something out from the Megastore while I'm there. I'll get it for you. We'll ship it to you. Not a problem. Don't care where you live. If you're on the moon, I'll figure it out. But check that out. Remember, it is 20% off at the United vs. Everybody store all week. Go check out that as well. New designs just popped up today as well. Always appreciate anyone at least giving it a show. But I appreciate everybody getting involved. Danny, Stephanie, Obi, Rob, everybody. Jarvis, of course, getting involved. Bikini Bottom, big up. Enjoy the rest of your day. Congrats again, Jarvis, Norway, for qualifying. That's awesome. I love it when all these teams kind of figure it out and everything's finalized and the draw comes, man. If we have any sort of Norway versus U.S., Jarvis, we're going to have to do some sort of watch along just for shits and gigs, man. But I appreciate everybody jumping in. Take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your show. Keep a lookout for the Lone Watch video, and we have another scouting report special coming out. I got 6 brand new players for you guys to take a look at. So until then, take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you guys on the next one.